So you're looking to sign up for your first track day. You're in luck. I'm going to tell you exactly what you need, how to do it, and what to expect when you sign up for your very first track day. While I'm talking, I'm going to be overlaying just track day footage and whatnot. I'm going to divide this up into a couple different sections. Each section will be timestamped in the description below if you want to skip around. But the first thing we're going to talk about is what to bring, the musts and like the fluff. The second thing we're going to talk about is how to sign up. The third thing we're going to talk about is what run group to pick for each track organization. The fourth is what to expect and what you're going to do when you get to the track day itself. And the fifth are just some tips and pointers that I think I can give you guys. So what we'll do right now is we'll start with the first thing, and we're going to start with the musts. And the musts are, of course, you got to have a car, or if you're doing a bike track day, a bike. But a car is a must. The other thing a must is when you drive anywhere, you need your insurance, you need your wallet, which has your credit card, license, and so on. I highly recommend getting AAA if you do not. AAA has a premier service, which is like 200-mile tow and 500-mile tows or something like that. If you guys can apply for that, definitely get AAA Premier. It is a huge lifesaver, especially for track days. You're also going to need a helmet. Now, there's helmets certified for bikes and there's helmets certified for cars, so make sure you do your research and pick one out for you and whatever vehicle you're going to be operating. The next are tools. Some basic tools like a torque wrench, wheel chocks so your car doesn't roll around because you never want to pull your handbrake up after a track run. Some basic tools, wrenches, screwdrivers, flatheads, wrenches. I think I repeated myself, but you get the gist. Just pack a bag of tools like you would if you're going to work on your car. Also, a tire pressure gauge really helps. And you're going to need fluids, not just for yourself, like water, Gatorade, electrolytes, because you are probably going to be sweating and you are going to be thirsty. You should also pack some extra car fluid, oil, coolant, water wetter, stuff like that, just to make sure your car, if anything, like it burns oil or something, you have the needed fluids to replace everything. Now, some added fluff that you can pack. Gloves, racing gloves. Some people actually don't like racing in gloves, so it's all personal preference. I personally like racing gloves. Now, there's also shoes. Usually racing shoes have a very thin sole and they're very narrow, so heel toe is quite easily, and the thin sole helps you with pedal feel. Once again, personal preference. If you have a really thin pair of Vans or running shoes or something like that that you like wearing, by all means, wear those. You can get gas at the track, but I prefer to bring my own gas, E85, because most track places do not have that near them. If you have 91 octane or race fuel, you can buy it at the track, but just note that most tracks, the places there, the price per gallon is much steeper than if you brought your own or you left and went into town. So up to you. Next is window cleaner. Your window is going to get dirty with dust, rubber, whatnot, so it is useful to have window cleaner on hand. Towels, just you never know. Camera gear, DSLR, handheld camera, GoPros. Filming yourself and rewatching the footage really helps, so I would almost put a GoPro or camera gear in the must, because you're going to want to film and it's going to help you rewatching the footage. Painter's tape. Painter's tape is good for holding on body panels that may fall off, and also if you need numbers, you can put painter's tapes on the side of your car for numbers. Chairs, you're going to be sitting around waiting in between sessions, you probably don't want to be sitting on the ground. And the last thing is a pop-up tent or a regular tent for shade, either for yourself or the car. Most tracks have an open paddock, which is where you park with no shade unless you rent a garage. The only place that I know of right now off the top of my head is Thunderhill that has covered parking, but for the most part everything is in the open air, which you're going to get sun, and that's no fun. That rhymed. Alright, so that's basically covers number one. Moving on to number two of how to sign up. Now, there is different track organizations for different states. The ones here in California off the top of my head is NASA, Speed SF, On Grid, Hooked on Driving, Trackmasters. Those are the ones that I can think of. you're gonna have to do some Google research and figure out which track organizations are around you. Pick one out. Cheaper is not always better, just realize that. Usually with the cheaper track days, you're gonna get people that are less experienced. They're just looking for cheap track days to get seat time in. Price out if you want to stay the night before or if you're going to drive in the morning of. Thunder Hill is about 3.5 hours away, so I do not want to leave at 3 a.m. and get there at 6 when the gates open. That is not fun. You're going to have a long day, especially with driving home, so I always stay the night before. A hotel for the night is like 25 to 50 bucks, so honestly it's not that bad, but you're going to have to price in fuel, price in food, and whatnot, so just make sure your budget allows for it. Honestly, the hardest part about signing up for a track day is just signing up. You got to take the first steps. It's like you got to walk before you run. Just sign up, you won't regret it. That's it for number 2. We're moving on to number 3, which is what run group to pick. Now, if it's your first time at the track, which is why you may be watching this, pick beginner group. Do not pick lower intermediate. Pick beginner group and also pick an instructor. Make sure you get an instructor because they're there to help you. They know the track, they know the braking points, they know the apex lines. Not only is it just going to help you, it's going to make you a better driver and make you feel more confident out on track. Keep picking beginner group and keep picking instructors until you're comfortable. If it's your second track day and you're still uncomfortable, stay in beginner, maybe even pick up an instructor for 1 or 2 laps, sessions, and go from there. Leave your ego at home. This is the biggest thing I can tell you. Don't go to the track thinking you're the shit, because it's probably going to make you worse, and you're going to hold up people that are faster. They're going to get mad at you, and it's just going to snowball and be a downward spiral from there. Each run group is different. Beginner group is no open passing at all. It's point by everywhere. Low intermediate, which is like a bump up from beginner, which I would say you should do after your second or third track day if you're comfortable, is point by only, I believe. Yeah, point by only. Higher intermediate, which is what I run right now, is point by in corners, passing in the straight allowed. Advanced, which is the top tier, the elite people that have done plenty of track days, open passing anywhere. So just make sure you pick a run group that best suits you. Once again, leave your ego at home, get comfortable. Each track is different, so if it's your first time at a different track, you might want to go down a run group. Totally up to you, but I suggest listen to the people who have been to the track before. If you have friends that have been there, invite them, ask for a ride along, have them ride in your car, give you some tips like that. Practice, practice, practice. That's all I can have, all I can say really. The more seat time you get in, the better you'll become. This is a given. You can do the same track over and over, and progressively you should improve the more seat time you have. Don't rush yourself into a higher group. I kind of touched on that already, but stay in a lower run group until you get better. And that kind of moves on to, like, don't modify your car right after a track day to make yourself faster. Don't put a lot of go fast parts on. This is coming from someone who totally built their car and then went straight back onto the track. I wish I learned the car almost bone stock and worked my way up from there. So I had a much steeper learning curve than I think others may do, but slowly mod your car, see what's needed. All you really need is tires, brake pads, fluid, and cooling. That's all you really need to start, and then you can start adding on suspension, brakes, tires, more power, stuff like that. But just work your way up. Don't over modify your car. You can have a super fast car and be a really slow driver, and people will take notice. That kind of covers number 3. Now let's move on to number 4, what to expect when you get there. So you'll get an email about a week in advance telling you the schedule, and you'll go from there. Depending on what run group you're in, you'll see what time you start, you'll see what time the driver's meeting is, you'll see what time the gates open, and you'll see what time the day ends. Get there before the morning meeting, because you do not want to miss that. The morning meeting covers the day, the flags, anything different with the track and so not. But you should be there for the morning meeting. Most run groups will give you a sticker at the end, which means you stayed and you listened, which means you can go out to your first session. If you miss that, sometimes they won't even let you run. They talk about different run groups, so pay attention. Also, leave yourself some time to have a pre-game poop. Your nerves and your adrenaline's going to be rushing, so you're probably going to have to use the bathroom. Also, the first session out, everyone's super eager, super amped, super jittery. So make sure, if you're not comfortable, what I always do for the first session out is I go in the way back just to get a feeling for my other drivers. The track is cold, the tires are cold, my nerves are up. So starting in the back, you can work your way up. You don't have to worry about people coming up and flying behind you, stuff like that. Start wherever you want. Usually the front is where the people who really want to go fast. Middle are like the give it or lose it kind of thing, and the back is the slower people who are more cautious. Even though I want to go super fast, the first and second session I'm usually starting in the way back. The first lap out is a standing yellow, so that means no passing. Never blow a red flag. A red flag means there's car flip, car on fire, something major on track, and if you blow it, they're gonna kick you off the track for the day. There's usually 5 sessions, about 20 minutes each. Some track days, depending on how many run groups there are 6. Don't feel pressured to run every single session or run every single session for 20 minutes. When I set my 156 at Sonoma, I literally did 4 laps. So that's about 8 minutes or less, and then I just got off the track. I was so pumped, I was so happy. I was like, I don't need to push the car any harder. I'm happy with that, and I got off. So that's basically what to expect on your first track day. People are very friendly. If you have any questions, if you're like, hey, you're really fast, do you mind if I can get a ride with you? Most people will let you. It's a different breed than a car meet. Like I said before, everyone leaves their egos at home, so everyone's pretty friendly at the car show. Everyone's pretty friendly at the track. Okay, this leaves us with our final section, just some general tips. Stay calm. Don't overwork yourself. There's no reason to do that. If you get yourself into too much traffic, like you're coming up on a huge Congo line, go into the hot pits, tell them you need a break, and you can go right back out and usually avoid most of the traffic. It's actually probably one of the biggest tips I can give you. It's not a race. You're not competing for a medal or a prize, so just don't be aggro around other drivers. You're competing against yourself, that's about it. You definitely want to make it home, so you and your car, stay within your own limits of how you can drive, which means basically don't overpush yourself, don't overpush the car. Each lap or each session out, try to brake a little bit later every single time. That's going to help you improve. Try to coast less, try to get faster back on the gas. Just be smooth as fast. Watch your footage, especially when you get home, so you can see where you can improve, such as if you're coasting too much here and there. Have fun. It's a track day. You're out there to have fun. You're out there to make friends, make memories. So that's all I can really say is have fun. Once you're done, you're gonna have that itch to definitely sign up for more track days. So do it. Sign up for more track days. Get that seat time in. Get better. Figure out what you need to improve on. And like I said, monitor your temps. Your oil pressure, tire pressure, coolant. You don't want to blow your car up at track. That would be very sad. I've done it. And I mean, the more you go out, the better you'll become. It's all about your seat time. Seat time will greatly improve your driving, which in turn makes you a better driver, and it's going to make you wanting to keep improving, keep signing up for more track days. And overall, track days are so much fun. The sights, the smells, the sounds, it's very addicting. The adrenaline rush, the instant you basically leave, you want to sign up for another. But I mean, all I can say is sign up for your first track day. If you don't like it, that's okay. At least you said you did it, and I'm excited to see how many of you guys actually go out to your first track day. If this helped you, what to do, what to pack, what to bring, how to sign up. But overall, this was a video that was highly asked about for a lot of you guys. Sorry it was a little long, but there's so much information, and I feel like I'm skimming through most of it. But if you guys have any questions, please post it down below. I'll answer it in depth to the best of my ability. And till then, I'll catch you out on track hopefully one day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Have some fun.